Shipwreck and Seafaring Tales of Prince Edward Island by Julie B. Watson. Part 4. 1760. After several shipwreck survivors came ashore and settled the area, the name naufage, the French word for shipwreck, was chosen for the community. 1770. Annabella. I take this story. This is the ship my ancestors came on. 60 Scottish families boarded the Annabella in 1770, bound for the Carolinas. Imagine the dismay of the immigrants when they came within sight of St. John Island, where nothing but spruce and pine trees could be seen, right down to water's edge. They had been expecting the loose, cultured farms surrounding Town, their exit depression. Shock was to be committed when the Annabella ran onto a sandbar as they neared the shore. No lives were lost, but all aboard had to be taken by lifeboats to land. Before night fell, some clothing and food were removed from the ship, but most were left for the next day. The night had, however, a storm came up, the ship broke to pieces, all supplies were lost. The event occurred in Lot 18, Malpec, and the Canadians there helped the shipwrecked settlers make shelters among the trees. The people lived there all winter, surviving on dried corn, oysters dug up under the shore ice, and sea cow flippers. In the spring, with ongoing help from the Canadians, they built homes, put in crops, and were soon joined by 70 more Scottish settlers. The spirit of Annabelle lives on at Cabot Reef Park, where Scottish Heritage Days are held from time to time to commemorate the arrival of the first stream from Annabella Town, Scotland, in October 1770. Sea cows exterminated. The first law passed by the Governor and Council of the early 1770s, the regime of Governor Patterson, was an act regulating the fishery of sea cows, which were being rapidly exterminated by some fishermen from the Magellan Islands and New England. From the time of Cartier, large numbers of sea cows were slain, and the feeding grounds on the coast oil and through hands and meant death for thousands upon thousands of those strange beasts on the shore of this powerful book of tongues fell helpless to harpoons of the hunters. Patterson permitted only licensed hunting of sea cows in order to save them. They were, however, gradually killed off, and Prince Edward Island lost a valuable source of industry. The only remainder today of the great mammals is a community up west called Sea Cow Pond, reportedly named for the number of skeletons of sea cows found in the Victory. This was a ship my ancestors were on. I take that story very well. The Scottish clan MacArthur was on the Annabella back in 1770. So this story I take very well to my heart. Otherwise, if they did not survive, I would not be here today. So, in this video, hope you enjoyed.